pen? I know, but I need it. Ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 da. Wait a minute, I think the words are too hard. Can you turn me down a little? I'm feeling too blasty and I don't hear them at all. Are these words too hard? This is from the shtetl of Idadai as opposed to the shtetl of Bim Bom Bim Bom. So just join in. Yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, dai, yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, dai, yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, dai, yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 da-da-dai, dai, dai, yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 da-da-dai, dai, dai, yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 yada-dai, dai, 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 dai. And we invite our president, Dana Adler, to greet you.
Greet, greet. Anyway, Shabbat Shalom. I wanted to welcome everybody, and I especially want to give a warm welcome to our new members, the Lipmans. Would you please stand up? We don't try to embarrass everybody, but we have new members, so please introduce yourself to them. They have been in Portland and Palm Springs, so now they're here. So we're happy to have them there. Please enjoy the services, and we'll be using the Mishkan Tefillah tonight.
We invite Herb and Sue Cohn to come up and light the candles this evening.
We're on page 2.
I'm on page 3.
Page 3.
Page 3.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to make the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to act of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. Amen.
That's the most important part. We continue on page 332. Yedid nefesh avarachama meshoch avdecha el retzonecha yarutz avdecha kemo Yedid nefesh, heart's delight, source of mercy, draw your servant into your arms. I leap like a deer and stand in awe before you. Your love is sweeter to me than the taste of honey. This song, it's not a prayer, it's not a song. Some of its phrases come from Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs, but it really was composed to remind us that God is our beloved and we are God's beloved. And the tradition was to sing songs from the Song of Songs at the beginning of the Shabbat service so that when we get to our next prayer, L'chadodi, we already are reminded that we are God's beloved and God is our beloved. And it gets a little confusing because we are God's beloved, God is our beloved, but we're also talking to our beloveds within the community and saying, come greet Shabbat. So now I'm going to say to you, L'chadodi, come my beloved, and let's greet Shabbat. Page 20. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Penei Shabbat nekabela, Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el miuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'litila, L'chadodi Penei Shabbat nekabela, L'chadodi likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela,
לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We rise. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Please be seated. So I need to warn you that a couple of weeks after the rabbi comes back from camp, we're going to have Camp Shabbat. And we're going to be singing a lot of the songs that we did last Friday, some of the Debbie Friedman music, but we're going to be doing some of the newer music as well. And it made me remember this song on page 22. It's based on the Psalm for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, but this is the camp version. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Let's try that again. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, בלילות, בלי עשור, בלי נבל, בלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, לך במעשה ידיך ארנן, ארנן. מה גדול מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. Now be ready to clap with her. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. So I wasn't going to do this, but I have to tell you, Sarah was at a workshop for preschoolers in LA last week.
Wasn't for preschoolers.
No, the workshop was for preschool music taught to adults. Although when I saw some of the video, it was for preschoolers. But what was interesting is that when you're teaching music to little kids, and we do it to like 150 little kids twice a week here usually, you have to slow things down a little, and you have to repeat something 3 times. So how come when we start doing clap, 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 you don't start clapping until the 3rd time? You're not in preschool. You can jump in whenever you want to. We give you permission. But it's really lovely because you have to sing at the pace of the people you're singing with. So if we're going too fast, just go slow down. And if we're not going fast enough, Ruth, you just speed me up because she likes it when it's peppy. So we're going to continue with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 26. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael bagala bagala u'v'zman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'l'olmei olmaya yitbarach yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha prichu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imeru amen. Please rise. The Baruch Hu is on page 28. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Please be seated.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim. God of creation, who makes the evening fall from light into darkness with the setting of the sun, you unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars and wrap our souls with peace. וערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים. ברוך אתה, אדוני, המרעיף ערבים.
On page 33. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. If it's your tradition to rise for the Shema, please do so. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod, Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. If you would like to, you may be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha Veshinantam levanecha, vedibarta bam, veshivtecha bevetecha, uvlechtecha baderech, uvshochbecha uvekumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam, al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman bizgeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem lelohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. We're on page 39. And you don't have to stay standing if you don't want to. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot oseh pele, Nora tehilot oseh pele, Malchut Yai, lai, 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 yai, da, lai, 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 lai.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גד ישראל.
So typically we don't make a break at this point in the service, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Hashkivenu prayer, which is the next prayer. We end up kind of skipping over it sometimes because we're so worried about ending the service on time, but it's my favorite prayer in the service, and it only occurs in the evening liturgy, and there's no corresponding equivalent in the morning or the afternoon. And
Why is that?
well, in the Dark Ages, before electricity, is that what the Dark Ages is?
Yeah, no.
When people went to sleep, they didn't know if they were going to wake up in the morning. There was very little understanding of, the mysterious forces of nature that could be at work in the body or in the world, and people died in their sleep and nobody knew why. And so every time you went to sleep, they called it the little death. It was like you died and you were just hoping, praying that God would give your soul back to you in the morning, that you would wake up again. And so the Hashkivenu is basically, lay me down to sleep and wake me up in the morning. Please, can I please wake up in the morning and still be alive?
So, this version of Hashkivenu, O Guide My Steps, is found on page 373 in the Siddur.
But we're going to have it on the screen so
So
that
you
don't have to flip.
look if you don't want to.
Oh, guide my steps and help me find my way. I need your shelter now. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps and help me make this day a song of praise to you. Rock me in your arms and guide my steps.
The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed.
We're on page 44. If שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. גם מקדשי שביעי שבת, שבת, כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך שבת, שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, שבת. חמדת ימים, חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת, שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג.
We're on page 46. Please rise for the Amidah. Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We we take a few moments of silent prayer, continuing to page 60, and you may do it either standing or seated. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
At this point in our service, we take a moment to think about those in need of healing, of body, soul, and spirit. If you're joining us online and you have a name you'd like to add, you can send that to Alex in the chat or put it in the comments section of whatever platform you're on. We have recently added to our Mishaberach list Carrie Flax, Ted Shee, Steve Kane, Nancy Hayden, Kenneth Moskowitz, Fred Berman, Warren Kvalasund, Toby Russ, and Christina Vento. And we also include in our prayers all of our diplomats serving overseas and our military serving everywhere. Keep them safe from harm and keep their souls strong. Strengthen them to serve with honor and courage. And from our online community, we also add Rena Liebeskind, Albert Abzug, and Bunny Beanstalk.
Is there anybody from here?
If you would like to add a name, yes. Thank you. Dana. Thank you. Faye? Faye? Thank you. Thank you.
And all those who were in the path of the storm last week, whose electricity went out for days, or whose houses flooded or were damaged, because there are a lot of people. If you have friends who are in the foothills, ask them if they need your help. Bring your mops.
God, we place these loved ones and others who are in pain into your divine and healing light. You are caring for us and bringing us to our highest potential. There are some with special needs. Please help them. Please help us help them. The Mishaberach can be found on page 253. You may rise if that is your custom.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Lehimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
You may be seated.
Normally, I'm not Rabbi Cohen, but tonight, because I'm teaching you something, I'm a rabbi and I'm a Cohen, so I don't know. So I want to talk to you a little bit about Devarim. Devarim is Deuteronomy. It's the last book of the Torah, and we start it this week. But I'm not going to give you a whole big speech of Torah scholarship. What I want to talk about a little bit is the idea of one of the things that we find in the second chapter, or the second portion of the book of Deuteronomy, and that is the prayer Shema. The prayer Shema, if you asked almost any Jewish person, what is the most important prayer of the Jewish religion, I would guarantee 98% of them would say Shema. It's the one that we learn when we're very tiny. It's the one that is supposed to be the last words on our lips when we go to sleep or when we die. So it's considered really important. And the idea behind it is God's unity. God is one. In Devarim, we are recounting all of the stories and everything. It's Moses' final speeches to the Jewish people, but he's giving a quick recap of their history as they go, and then adding some things. And what he keeps saying is, you are a people who has to listen to God. If you don't listen to God, you're going to be wiped off the face of the earth. And he's the first real prophet who says this. Remember when we fought this one and that one and we weren't following God's commands and we were beaten, but when we followed God's commands, he went with us and protected us. So there's this idea that if we stay as a people and we follow God's commands, then we will be okay. There's also a thought in Judaism that as much as we have one God, we should be one Jewish people. Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh Lazeh. All of Israel is responsible for one another. We all follow the same God. This is who we are. And it tends to say that Jews should constitute one undifferentiated group with one style of Judaism for all. Ha. Yeah. But the idea is this. If you follow Judaism and this group says this is the right way, and this group says this is the right way, and this group says this is the right way, it weakens the claim of each group to be right. Maybe. Maybe. You know, if Torah says this, then, and somebody believes it says that, and somebody believes it says that, then what is the strength of our claim to being right? First of all, is being right so important? But in this case, I think it is. The idea is that in Deuteronomy, we're given another thought. And the thought is that diversity isn't such a bad thing. Diversity is told in this Torah portion. The Jews are about to cross the Jordan, and they're so excited. They're about to become God's people in the promised land. And Reuben and Gad, the tribes, say, no, we're staying on the other side of the river. And Moses is like, well, wait a minute. We're one people under God. Wait, I've heard that before. One nation under God, and he's really concerned. So he actually goes to God and he says, is this okay? And God says, yeah, they have different needs than we have. They need their own space. They want to be on that side of the river. That's fine with me, except that if they're going to build their towns and their communities on that side of the river, the men still have to come with us and fight for us as Israel united. And it actually, Sarah said it this way. This I thought was, it's like you must go as shock troops, warriors all, at the head of your Israelite kinsmen until the Lord has granted your kinsmen a haven such as you have found on the other side of the river. So it teaches us something really profound. And that's that, yes, we're allowed to be different, and we're allowed to live in different places and have different ideas, but not at the cost of the rest of the community. And that's an interesting thought, because when you look at, and I'm not going to get into politics because I hate getting into politics, but the idea of diversity is really important. You know, Fran believes one thing, I believe something else. You know, Sheila believes something else. John is, I don't know what John believes. No, I'm kidding. The idea is everybody has their own mind and their own way of thinking and believing. But that doesn't mean we're not still responsible for one another. And the diversity, the differences cannot get in the way of our taking care of each other. So Rabbi Bradley Artson, who is He was one of the deans of the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York. And the way he put it was really quite beautiful. He said, diversity is legitimate so long as each Jewish group keeps the well-being of the entire Jewish people in mind. We are all limbs on one body. As the rabbi saw it, all Israel are comrades. God is one, and thank God the Torah has many paths and many interpretations. As you walk along your path to God, remember to reach out a hand, and that way we can all get there together. Shabbat Shalom. Now, I'm going to tell you one other thing. This isn't sermon, this is a quick thing. Ruth asked a great question. We have been publishing in everything that you get now from Kol Ami. I'm Cantor Janice Cohen, Rabbi Malcolm Cohen, Erev Cantor Sarah Bolt. So Erev Cantor, when you have Erev Shabbat or Erev Chanukah or Erev Yom Kippur, it means the evening of Yom Kippur, right before it actually really gets into it. So Sarah is Erev Cantor because at the end of the year she will be a chazan, a cantor. So that's why her title changed. She's not an intern anymore. She knows what she's doing. She knew what she was doing before she got to school, but now we call her Erev Cantor. So if anybody gives you a puzzled look, you can explain to them it's because she's in her last year of cantorial school and she's about to make that step. So, for those of you who didn't have floods in your homes, or those of you who had something wonderful happen this week, we need a couple of things of happy news. Do we have any happy news? Yes, Marcia. Mazel tov. Grandson is turning 2 on Sunday. Yes. Yes. She turned over for the first time, 3 months, 5 days, Susan. Mazel tov. Aaron is engaged. Aaron was one of my little students back in the day, and now he's an old man. What is he, like 34, 35? 33. Okay, I knew he was in there. Mazel tov. That's fantastic. So let's sing Shehecheanu together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Continue with Aleinu on page 282. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, l'atei gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamona, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. V'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech hakol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
prepare for the mourner's Kaddish, I would like to invite those of you at home to put those names in the chat or in the comment section. And I would like to ask Sarah to go down and do the Kaddish stones.
Yes.
If those of you are observing a yort site and you would like to come and take one of the stones and place it on the table, now is your time. We think of Donna Hutchinson, sister to Howard Zweitel, who died just either today or yesterday. So we also remember the Shloshim of Sana Stasel, David Kukla, Dennis Chinich, Jerry Kramer, Rhoda Mendez, Joan Katz, Fred Brodsky, Jeffrey David Cooper, Judy Rubin, Shannon Marie Luck, and Joe Riley. The yort sites that we observe this week, and if you hear your loved one's name, please rise. Orville Barnett, Sylvia Bartz, Anne Ben David, C. Lynn Carpenter, Leon Franklin, Robert Freed, Leo Gilbert, Arthur Goldberg, Carrie Goldberger, William Goldfield, Rex Hegwer, Joseph Holpert, Joseph Horn, Christine Eisenbarger, Ed Jackson, Sidney Katz, Marga Koenig, Molly Krieger, Sarah Crone, Morris Love, Eve Levine, Rihanna Levy, Annie Mandel, Beryl Margolis, Michael Matlick, Huguette Matudi, Thomas Mayers, David Millstone, Cy Milton, Linda Nadell, Helen Plotkin, Herman Popper, Sylvia Sachs, Ruth Schwager, Diana Schwartz, Stanley Shalick, Joel Schulman, Robert Sidney, Rebecca Silverman, Doris Silverstein, Harold Simkin, Howard Skolnick, Beatrice Smoller, Seymour Sternstein, Dinah Taub, Stanley Teufel, Helen Topol, Clara Moore Varnum, and Anna Yalkowski. If there are other names, please rise and say them now. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Anyone on this side?
And from our online community, Fernando Morales.
We rise and join these loved ones in the words of the Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach leolam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal. Shemei dekudisha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. V'imru 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 amen. V'imru be seated. I don't normally make announcements, but I would like to make sure that everybody is aware that we have a bereavement group that meets this Tuesday at 11:30, and anyone who's lost someone is welcome. And we have a light lunch, and then we have a nice discussion. And then on Wednesday evening at 7 p.m., we are observing Tisha B'Av. A number of us who are here will be chanting from the Book of Lamentations, and Rabbi Cohen, who will be back, please God, will be leading a discussion on that text. Anything else? I think we're good.
And there's a Hebrew class starting this
Oh
weekend.
yeah, there's an intermediate Hebrew class starting Sunday morning at 11, and if you need to know about it, ask Sarah. We conclude with Adon Olam on page, I always keep
321.
321. Do, Adon Olam. Do, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Hashem Allah.
Hashem Allah.
B'terem kol Yetzir Nivra.
Yetzir Nivra.
Naso v'chefzo kol.
Azai Melech Shemo Nikra.
Ve'acharei kichlot hakol. Levado yimloch nora. Ve'hu haya ve'hu hoveh. Ve'hu yeh b'tifara. Be'yado af kidruchik. Madonai li. Velo, 2, 3, 4. Velo ira.
Do,
Adon Olam Hashem Allah.
Hashem Allah.
B'terem kol Yetzir Nivra.
Yetzir Nivra.
Naso v'chefzo kol.
Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Let's sing Kiddush together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon himchilanu. זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר לציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. L'chaim. As I spill it all over myself.
I got it.
She got white grape juice tonight, so she could spill, but I'm not allowed to. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei ovo. Shabbat shalom. Oneg in the other room, welcome our new members and say hi to everybody. Do, do.